I can't let this day go by without acknowledging Saint Joseph. Yesterday was actually the solemnity, March 19th, of Saint Joseph, but because it was Sunday, then we celebrate the solemnity of Saint Joseph today. And this is actually a beautiful statue that depicts Saint Joseph in his role as head of the Holy Family and just his great love for Mary and Jesus. I have here a relic of St. Joseph's bone that we have been venerating today in our chapel. And so we ask you, St. Joseph, intercede for us, for all the graces we most need. This is part of the litany, and I'd encourage you, if you have a chance today, to pray the litany of St. Joseph, to really get a feel for the different attributes and virtues of Saint Joseph. He is a patron saint of the universal church, unborn children, fathers, workers, travelers, immigrants, and a happy death. This is just an icon of the Holy Family, just showing their unity. And it kind of reminds me of when I went on pilgrimage to Loretto, where they have the house of Nazareth, where the Holy Family lived through many years of their hidden life. It's a very small house, and I just spent time just sitting in this house against the wall, leaning against the wall, and just soaking in the spirit of the Holy Family. Because the Holy Family just has such communion, so much love between them. And of course, Jesus is at the center of the Holy Family, but they were all about loving one another, serving one another, looking out for one another, not putting a self-centeredness first, but a desire for the best of one another. And so kind of a depiction of, here on earth, of the Holy Trinity and the union of the Trinity in heaven, which I'll have a picture later on of that. We have here just a picture of Jesus, of Joseph holding Jesus, and just his intimacy with the Christ child. And we're all called to be drawn into that intimacy as well. Just going to go through a couple of pictures of St. Joseph that I find very touching. We have here the Sacred Heart of Jesus as a child, and it shows Joseph's heart with a lily, with lilies, representing his purity. Often St. Joseph is depicted with lilies, and it's representing his purity. You know, and I often think, as I gaze upon these pictures, of St. Joseph and his purity compared to the many men today who are impure, even the great pedophile scandals that are going on everywhere, and how St. Joseph, if we call upon his intercession, that he may intercede for all of us, for especially those who are struggling with impurity in so many ways. And of course, Joseph as well with Mary, because he lived with Mary and they were chaste. Mary, the most beautiful woman of anyone, and yet they were both chaste. Both Mary and Joseph reportedly had consecrated their lives to God, to live a celibate life. Then they were called to marriage, but a chaste marriage and a celibate marriage, because Christ was at the center, and they were both living the wedding feast of the Lamb. They were both entering into this nuptial union with God together that transcends the natural realm. So we can all ask St. Joseph to intercede for us, and having a purity of heart, a purity of body, a purity purity in every area of our lives, that we may all have God truly at the center of our lives and at the center of our families. This is actually the picture of the Trinity. You see the Father, and then the Holy Spirit, and then Jesus, the Christ child, and then we have Mary and Joseph. So Jesus is depicted in his human family and in his spiritual family, in his heavenly family with the Father and the Holy Spirit, this unity of the Trinity and this unity of the Holy Family, which represents here on earth, in a certain sense, the unity of the Holy Trinity. And this was just a beautiful statue of St. Joseph hugging Jesus so intimately, heart to heart. We can only imagine that St. Joseph must have had such a profound intimacy of life with Jesus, the Son of God, Jesus whose heart is so sensitive and who is filled with so much love, and of course, as well, such an intimacy with Mary, and in such a chaste and holy way. We have here just a picture of the Holy Family when Jesus is older and Joseph is kind of guiding him in his work. And here we have Joseph with Mary and Jesus as he's about to die. Of course, Jesus and Mary are at the side of St. Joseph as he's dying, which is why he's patron saint of a happy death, that we may all have that grace as well, to have Jesus and Mary at our side as we are dying. Here's just another beautiful picture of St. Joseph at his death. So may we all have the grace this day to call upon St. Joseph to intercede for us in whatever graces we most need,